doctor because bad medicine is back. That's the Appleton Oak. This is Diamond Dave Damone. I'm Mason Quinn. Guys, the time has finally arrived. We are checking out the season finale of The Last of Us. This is season 1, obviously, episode 9, and it's been just a banger of a series. I cannot wait to see how it goes. This is only like 43 minutes, guys. It's gonna fly through. It's gonna be crazy.
I tell you what, this series, this first season of The Last of Us has got to be one of the most perfect first seasons, or not even just first seasons, one of the most perfect seasons of television I think I've ever seen, from the story writing to the acting, a little bit of comedy, a ton of suspense, a ton of action.
All the details.
I mean, you'd really have to nitpick to find things wrong with this season so far. Can't wait for the finale.
I honestly cannot believe this has been 9 weeks already. It has flew by. The series has been so awesome so far. Again, I'm with you, Mr. Quinn. I can't believe this is 43 minutes, so it's probably 39, 40 realistically.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm pretty sure this is going to be a banger. Let's go!
Does not feel like it's okay. This is something new.
Ashley Johnson. Okay, so real quick, guys, she is the voice of Ellie in the game.
Okay.
No way are they going to have Ashley be Ellie's mom?
I was gonna say, is this like happening now, or is this old stuff? Dave, don't tell us.
No, I honestly don't know.
I'm verbalizing.
I honestly do not know. I'm taking a wild guess here.
Okay, so it's definitely after the after things started.
Oh,
But
that's a cool shot. The city in the background there.
Yeah, I'm just wondering whether this is like after the last episode, or this is, you know, earlier before everything went, or right after things went bad.
Oh, is that the water breaking?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
It's.
I wonder what that meant. Whoa,
That's her
no
knife.
way.
Yeah.
Oh man!
My God.
Look at that thing move!
Oh! Look at the cordyceps coming out. That is sick. Here you go. Come on, Ashley.
She didn't even know she gave birth.
She gave birth. She was fighting so hard.
So I suppose so much stress. Well, can we get the baby off the wood floor, please? Oh, and she got bit.
No.
Well, you better cut the cord so it doesn't. That's what she's thinking. Yep.
Yeah.
And that's how Ellie kind of
She got just enough.
to where her body can fight it. Oh, this would suck just knowing that
Yeah, and she
you
doesn't
don't have
know
long and you
how
just
long
gave
you-
birth. Man, are they hitting us hard already.
They did an amazing job with the casting. That actress looks a lot like Ellie.
Tell him, Ellie.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's some of her mom's characteristics.
Yeah.
Hi. You're so tough. Okay.
And just gonna leave us hanging. Yeah, that actress looked a lot like an older Bella Ramsey, which was
what
very
an
well
open
done.
dude. What an open.
Right, but what I'm saying is she was picked as a voice actress prior to them knowing that this was going to be made into a TV series.
No.
So that's purely coincidental.
Oh, that she looks like.
That she looks like
The
it, because
actress
she
who
was
plays
picked.
Ellie.
She was picked to be the voice actor for the video game prior to this being made into a series.
Oh, so
So
just
they
happened
gave-
to be lucky.
But to your point, they may have given her that role of Ellie's mother because she looked like it, but she wasn't necessarily cat.
I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was more or less probably, Ashley, we want you in just like they did with Troy last week.
Yeah, let's give
Yeah.
you.
We gotta get you
how
in
can
this.
we fit you in?
Yep.
Well, hey, you actually kind of
Kinda
look
look
like. So let's
the
put you
actress.
in. Let's put you in this role.
Yeah.
God, what an
Yeah.
awesome start that was. How are they going to devastate us here?
Yeah, well, and are these the people who eventually find baby Ellie, or are we past that?
Anna?
Wouldn't she have turned already? Unless her
Not
mom
if
was
it's the
immune?
same night.
It's the same night.
We would delay getting out of the zone.
She's hungry. She needs to be fed, and I didn't want to nurse her. I cut it before I was bit. Before. Take her with you to Boston.
I can't do that.
And I want you to give her this. Her name is Ellie.
I can't.
How long have we known each other?
What do you mean you can't?
Our whole lives.
So you pick her up, and then you kill me.
I can't kill you.
No. Please. 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 Marlene!
Cover her ears.
Thank you! Thank you!
God, no good. Oh,
Why do you didn't even cover her ears, bro? Jeez.
Just took it off right after it happened. I mean, it would still be loud and scare the baby.
Maybe he had it kind of muffled.
There's just so many details in this show that I appreciate, and things like that are one of them.
Do you hear me? I found this in there. Beefaroni, Chef Boyardee. Have you ever played this?
A little bit more of a dad side coming out.
Getting close. Hospital that way.
Got it.
Take this for me.
Man, how far have we come? He wouldn't even give her one before, now it's like,
They had a guitar in that RV. It's all smashed up, but got me thinking, maybe I should find one. I haven't played in forever. I was thinking maybe I could teach you. You want to learn how to play guitar? Ellie?
That'd be great.
He's just kind of letting her have some time.
Okay, so this is what I'm thinking.
Cut through that building to get around that stuff, find a skyscraper, go up and look around.
Time I was thinking we blast our way through that rubble. I found some dynamite in that RV back there.
Really?
No, so we're gonna cut through that building, find a skyscraper, go up and look around. My head's going, didn't I?
Yeah, well, that'd be a little extra noise if we're blasting off dynamite here.
Talk about bad luck. Military drops bombs. Not one of them hits the building you're trying to demolish. No way up.
yeah, it's your elevator shaft.
I'll get you up there. You can drop that ladder down. Come on, I'll give you a boost. Okay? Just you kind of seem extra quiet today, so.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. 1, 2, up. You got it?
Yeah.
Ellie! You stay there!
Let's see this!
Ellie!
Come on!
Ellie!
Come on!
What is she gonna find some old Twinkies like John McClane?
Wait, what? Well, if that's not just the most random thing to find 20 years later.
A giraffe?
What are you doing?
It's all right. Come on.
Hey there.
Oh, are they setting us up?
So fucking cool. Oh, where's she going?
Oh,
There's a baby out
they're
there.
everywhere. There's a bunch of them.
Is it everything you hoped for?
It's got its ups and downs. Can't deny that view.
Look, I don't know exactly where this hospital is.
Yeah, we'll find it.
Maybe there's nothing bad out there, but so far there's always been something bad out there. I'm only saying there's risk. We don't have to do this.
What do you mean? What else are we supposed to do?
Nothing. We just go back to Tommy's. We forget about the whole damn thing.
After all we've been through, everything I've done, it can't be for nothing. I know you want to protect me. You have. And when we're done, we'll go wherever you want. Tommy's, Sheep Ranch, the moon. I'll follow you anywhere you go. But there's no halfway with this. We finished what we started.
No half measures, Quinn.
Her acting is just so next level through this entire series. It's really like whatever awards are all out there for TV shows. Can we just give her every single one of them? All of them?
She's been
every award.
She's nailed this
Which
part.
one? All the awards. Every award.
Is this a Fedra thing?
Army. The first few days after the outbreak, emergency medical camps. They had me in one just like this.
With Sarah?
Well, she was gone already.
So what was wrong with you?
Just for this.
The guy who shot and missed. I figured that would have happened later.
Second day.
Well, I gotta hand it to the Army people. They were way better at stitching you up than I was.
It was me. I was the guy who shot and missed.
Oh.
Sarah died, and I couldn't see the point anymore.
Oh, what?
And I wasn't scared either.
Yeah.
I was ready.
I didn't get it at first. Holy sh!
Went to pull the trigger. I flinched. Still don't know why. The reason I'm telling you all this
I
is
know why you're telling me all this. So time heals all wounds, I guess.
it wasn't time that did it.
He's gonna say it was you.
I'm glad that didn't work out. We should probably get going.
Yeah.
It's funny how both of them don't want him to be like too vulnerable.
Yeah.
People are making apocalypse jokes like there's no tomorrow. Too soon?
No, it's topical.
Oh, I love this one. Moon rocks taste better than Earth rocks. Why? Because they're meteor.
That's terrible.
Oh,
that's
fuck
a
you.
that,
That was actually good.
that's a 0 out of
All
10.
right. What did the green grape say to the purple grape? Breathe, you idiot. 7.
I'll give it a 5.
Uh-oh.
5 out of
Guys,
10.
behind you.
Oh,
Ooh. Yo, normally it cuts to black. This is interesting going to white.
I like it.
Up into the fireflies. You got hit pretty hard. Patrol didn't know who you were.
Where's Ellie?
She wasn't hurt. Not even a scratch. She's mostly worried about you. We lost half our crew crossing the country.
She fought like hell to get here.
She would have been dead on day one. You are the one person I never wanted to be in debt to. We all owe you.
Just take me to her.
She's being prepped for surgery.
Surgery? Wouldn't you just be drawing some blood or something?
He thinks that the cordyceps in Ellie has grown with her since birth.
Why is she in surgery?
It produces a kind of chemical messenger. It makes normal cordyceps think that she's cordyceps. It's why she's immune. He's going to remove it from her, multiply the cells in a lab, produce those chemical messengers, and then we can give it to everyone.
This sounds like a one-way ticket.
He thinks it could be a cure, Joel.
Cordyceps grows inside the brain.
It does.
Find someone else.
There is no one else. There won't be any pain.
No, you take me to her. You take me to her right now! Please. You don't understand.
I do. I promised her mother that I would save her child. I promised. I'm the only one who understands. I have no other choice.
I do.
Walk him out to the highway. Leave him there with his pack. Give him this.
It's her knife.
If he tries anything, shoot him.
Okay, so this is where the dad instincts kick back in. We saw how that happened. What happened before?
Yeah, I mean, she's not happy about it either, as they just showed in that shot. But
No, but he's not. He's not letting this happen.
it's the moral dilemma, one to save millions. These guys might as well be wearing red shirts.
I didn't hear anyone say stop. I said keep walking.
No, there's that. Oh,
Where is she? I don't have time for this.
No, he does not.
took the extra magazine.
But not the.
Probably the magazine and the other rifle he probably could have taken as well, but at least he took an extra magazine.
Yeah. Well, that's not a. Whatever. Almost looks like it's a little mini 14.
Yeah, it's a mini. Yeah.
Dude, this is intense. I love the way they're doing this right now.
Yeah, like there's not like
The
a bunch of
music.
action music.
Yeah,
it's
like
quiet,
it's subtle.
slow.
Yeah, the sound is very muted. That's not going to work with Joel, I don't think. Nope. Nope. Oh, the subtle.
God, this.
That
God.
shot right there. Oh,
And what's great, is they don't need to show like every single jab to the head or anything like that.
Your brain does it. You know,
Dude, he is rolling through everybody.
As soon as I say that, they show up a little, but still, I mean, they don't need to do it on every single one.
Like, look at these camera shots. Like, we're looking through a little gap.
Just that little shot right there adds so much.
At her age, how old is she supposed to be in this?
She's 14.
She's 14, yeah. So, okay, so pediatric surgery probably still at 14.
Well, let's not get too technical.
Yeah, I mean,
No, I'm just saying is the only reason I'm saying is this where she would be. That's my only concern.
Probably wherever the
I'm
equipment is.
Yeah, that's I wasn't trying to be all like, hey guys. I was just wondering if maybe he was in the wrong spot. That's all.
Unhook her.
I won't let you take her.
Unhook her.
Oh my God.
He said I won't
Cover her
let
arm.
you and grabbed his scalpel.
Pass. Turn around.
Not gonna lie, for a second I thought he was gonna pop him when he turn around.
I won't let you take her. Grabs the scalpel and dude's got a yeah.
Done.
Yeah, because I guess when they were headed out there, you know, they didn't know. I mean, we kind of just assumed if, at least I did, you know, blood samples, stuff like that, you know, maybe do.
Yeah. But they did show, obviously, in the one scene with, you know, the two brothers that her blood didn't help the younger one, you know.
Can't keep her safe forever. No matter how hard you try, no matter how many people you kill, she's gonna grow up, Joel. How long till she's torn apart by infected or murdered by raiders? Because she lives in a broken world that you could have saved.
Maybe, but it isn't for you to decide.
Or you. So what would she decide? Because I think she'd want to do what's right. It's not too late. Even after what you've done, we can still find a way.
He rolled through pretty much your whole crew and your
Yeah.
surgeon.
I just wonder did Ellie maybe think this might be a one-way ticket? She was very somber early in the episode.
What?
It's all right. You're with me. The drugs are still wearing off.
I was with the fireflies, and then what drugs?
They were running some tests on you. Turns out there's a whole lot more like you. People that are immune. Dozens of them. The doctors, they couldn't make any of it work. They've actually
Wow,
They've
Joel.
stopped looking for a cure.
Where are my clothes?
Raiders attacked the hospital. I barely got you out of there.
Oh, she knows he's lying, I think.
Yes.
Is Marlene okay?
I'm taking us home.
She doesn't believe a word he said, I don't think.
Nope.
I'm sorry. You've just come after her.
Whoa!
We gotta walk the rest of the way. We can manage that. You know, Sarah and I used to hike like this all the time. She was a big climber. Or scampering. She would have liked you. Definitely different kids.
How so?
Well, she was a lot more, I want to say girly, and I'm not saying that you're not girly.
I'm not.
She had a killer smile. Again, not saying that you don't. But you know why I think she'd like you? Because you're funny. I think you would have made her laugh. Anyway, I bet you would have liked her back.
Oh,
Hard to get prettier than Wyoming.
There you go.
Hey, wait. Back in Kansas City, you asked me about the first time I killed someone. When I got bit in the mall, I wasn't on my own. My best friend was there. And she got bit too. We didn't know what to do, and she says, we can just wait it out, be all poetic, and just lose our minds together. And I had to. Her name was Riley. And she was the first to die. And then it was Tess, and then Sam.
That's not on you.
I know it.
Look, sometimes things don't work out the way we hope, and you don't know what to do next. But if you just keep going, you find something new to fight for. And maybe that's not what you
Swear to
want.
me. Swear to me that everything you said about the fireflies is true.
I swear.
Oh, Joel is really... He's crossing the line a bit.
Okay.
And now she knows her best friend lied to her.
What?
Because she doesn't believe what Joel said about the fireflies. She knows it didn't go down that way. Look at her eyes. And then she asked Joel, and he's like, yeah, that's how it went down. The vibe I got was that she didn't believe him, and now her best friend lied to her.
What an episode, though.
It was. Holy cow. Okay, well, guys, there it was. After a lot of discussion here at the end that we had some questions about the end of the episode that I certainly had, and I'm sure there's going to be no shortage of comments of these, but an absolutely, again, a fantastic episode. I almost get tired of talking about it. The camera shots, the set design, all incredible. The attention to details. I mean, finally, there's a series that recognizes exactly how loud rifle shots and things like that can be. It's finally acknowledged, you know. Just so many little things that have been an absolute blast this whole series, and it was a lot of fun to watch it with these guys and watch it with all of you. So a couple of things that stuck out to me. I'm gonna let these guys handle the most. I just really want to hit on one thing that I think will generate a fair amount of discussion. Is Joel becoming the villain now? Is he selfish? He's lying to Ellie's face. Is he selfishly just trying to replace his daughter, and in doing so costing the lives potentially? I mean, now granted, we don't know if Ellie's 100%, you know, the cure for all this, but you know, with the moves he just did, he just potentially ended the lives of what could be millions of people for his own reasons. Now, again, that falls into the old, question of, you know, one to save many or millions, whatever it might be. But I'm having a real different feeling now with Joel. I mean, I think if we look at his actions from maybe a different perspective, I think we almost look at him as, oh, he's the villain 100%. You know, well, he's pulling a Negan by taking out doctors. So let's just start with that. And again, it's a selfish reason that he took Ellie. Yes, it was going to cost her life, but you know, part of me, the way that Bella Ramsey acted in this episode, I thought she knew earlier on what she signed up for. Maybe I'm misreading it, but I just thought with some of her facial expressions, the way she sold with her eyes, I thought that she knew it was a one-way ticket potentially. Two, she absolutely knows Joel is lying to her. I think that goes without saying. I know you and I can go back and forth about that a little bit, but I think she knows that he's lying. This whole episode, they didn't seem like themselves. You know, Joel with a lot of the small talk earlier on with the puzzle and the SpaghettiOs and that sort of thing. And it just kind of carried throughout the whole episode. And we again saw what Joel is truly capable of. So guys, I want to hear in the comments if have your opinions of Joel changed, and do you think he's a bit of a villain now?
It's not often that I just like totally disagree with Mason Quinn, but I totally disagree with him on this. However, I will say that I think your points are very valid. And I think, look, so often when we see season finales, they feed you one of two things. There's either some sort of resolution, and we know there's going to be a next season, but there's some sort of resolution, or there's some sort of massive cliffhanger.
Yep.
And I feel like both of those things can be cliche for season finales. And I don't want to say that this is frustrating because I think the show was amazing, but they didn't give us that, right? Like it wasn't this wild like cliffhanger, because now it's just like, okay, we're going to go on to the next chapter. And I'm sure people who watch the gameplay, and I know Diamond Dave, if for some reason this is the first one you've caught of our reactions for The Last of Us, Diamond Dave is kind of only going from where we're at right here backwards. So he's not going to give us any spoilers, but he's going to have some different insight. Now, again, I completely understand the angle Mason Quinn is taking, but I went back and forth on that a little bit, but how I feel is that this relationship developed to be something very, very strong and powerful. And I think at the end of the last episode, they showed us, okay, this is so much further than just, hey, I'm going to escort you across the country. And this is what it started. And, you know, kind of after going back and forth a little bit with myself and kind of mulling over what you said a little bit, I really feel like Ellie's response in that last, those last few moments before they actually, got to that hospital is that her thinking that her time with Joel was come to an end, and I mean, and I completely understand what you're saying. Like, what sort of emotions would you have if you knew, like, okay, I'm doing my duty to the world and this is the end? Maybe similar emotions if you've all of a sudden gone on this incredible journey with somebody who started as don't talk to me, don't do this, don't do that. We're just, we happen to be on the same path because I have to deliver you like some package to, I got you, baby girl, the last episode. And I think for me, when I was watching that, I feel like their relationship developed into something so strong. Imagine like having to say like goodbye. Because I think that's what, maybe she was worried that he was just going to go off wherever, because that was the original deal, right? He gets her there.
Yep.
He goes back with Tommy, and I think maybe there was some concern about that. Now, do I feel like she knows he's lying? Part of me feels like yes, and the more I think about it, I wonder if part of me, or I feel like that vibe that we're getting from her is just disappointment. She's been told for how long, we need you to get to this hospital. We need to get you there. You might be a cure. You might be a cure. And she gets there and finds out that everything, listen, if she's not the cure, then her entire mission across this country is for naught. So she left everything she had back home, friends, the people that she cared about that were back in the Boston QZ. She left all that, went all the way across the country. For what?
For Joel to say, "Oh no, there's more of people like you,
and
they're not doing a cure anymore."
It didn't work. And so I wonder if she feels like, hey, like this is all for naught. So I mean, there's a lot of different ways I think we can read her emotions, which I think is what's going to make conversations about this last episode really interesting. I agree with Mason Quinn that we really want you guys to drop it in the comments below. But I read her feelings different. I read like she felt like she was coming to the end of the road, and that's why she was having the discussions or kind of the emotions she had with Joel. And then I originally felt like, okay, she knows that he's lying. And in the truck, I felt like she knew he was lying. And when they went back to that scene of him, in the parking ramp, ending Marlene, I felt like we were going to see her kind of like an eye open, and she kind of caught it, and she was going to know, but she didn't. And I think at that very end, I think she wanted that reassurance when he said it. I think she believes him, but I also think she feels like, okay, now what? Because you also have to remember, she's been fed some sort of hope that she might be the cure for a different world. Yeah. Like you might be the cure. You might be this. And now she's facing the reality like this is the way the world's going to be. They tested multiple people. They've stopped looking for a cure. And now after hoping for however long that she might be the one who gets to save the world, and everybody, we got to protect her. Look, I'm bit, but I'm okay. She had it in her head for a long time. And rightfully so, that she was going to be the cure for the world. And now she's learning that she's not. And I think that's going to weigh very heavily on her. But again, I think a lot of your points are very valid. And I think we're going to see people in the comments saying, no, Mason Quinn's wrong. No, you're wrong. Well, and this is how it should have been interpreted, which I think I speak for all of us. We can't wait to see how you guys are interpreting it.
Yeah, I mean, it is a lot of perspective, right? I mean, Joel just cleared out a whole hospital of relatively innocent people, doctors, nurses, guards who are they've all probably got families. Maybe they have an Ellie at home. It's perspective of how we're looking at Joel. That's why I kind of lean towards those were kind of some villainous traits that he was doing, I think.
So entertainment is subjective, right? So, and I agree. I think we agree with Dave. You have some very valid questions and maybe potential valid points. I will also kind of pick up from Dave, where at least my interpretation. Now, I want to highlight this. I don't know anything about part 2. I have made it 30 minutes into Game Watch, so that's as far as I know about part 2. So, with my interpretation of Ellie here. They started the episode off with, we don't go halfway.
Yep.
We finish it, we see it all the way to the end, right? like you said, Dave, this whole season, she's been pumped up to know that she has this hope. So in her head, with all this time that they spent going across the country, she is telling herself at age 14, I'm hope. I'm the cure. Look what she tried to do for Sam. Take some of her blood, rub it on there, right? So she has this makeup in her head now, and it's locked in. Now when we come to the car, let's fast forward to the car conversation where I think your interpretation and your interpretation might be a little bit different.
Yep, I think she knows he's lying, Oak.
I felt at that point she thought he was lying too. I do. At that point in the car, when she turned around and faced the back of the seat, and if she didn't question whether he was lying or not, she wouldn't have asked him again at the end. So there was definitely hesitation.
So my interpretation here with this, I don't think she thinks he's lying. Because again, she had this hope right up here. When she heard that Marlene was gone, that's just another person added to her list that she's been acquainted with that's gone. So disappointment, boom, immediately, right? Because she just woke up from the anesthesia and all that. So she has no clue what happened. Now, fast forward to where she was trying to spit that out to Joel right there on top of that cliff mountain.
Yep.
Where she started naming off people that are no longer with her. Riley, Sam, whomever else she listed off there. She is in some kind of like deep, I don't know state. I'm missing the words right now, but she's deeply hurt. She's kind of hurt because all these people are now gone because of her. That's what she's thinking, right?
And the trauma from the last episode.
And the trauma that she's gone through on this journey. So right now, she is more confused in my eyes than she is thinking Joel's lying to me, because she's taking blame, which is why we see her very somber, for all those people that have now perished. So as far as I'm concerned, in my perspective, my interpretation, she's not really convinced that he's lying as much as she is like, this is all my fault. And nothing worked. After I was being told I was the cure.
Yeah, and the one thing I wanted to, in the last episode, we were presented with a situation with how far was Joel willing to go to save Ellie. Now, those guys weren't bad guys either necessarily. I mean, they were just trying to do their own thing and survive. They were on a mission to get him, but the mission to get him, I think, is what made us think in our head like this is okay, right? And so when you say, you brought up that he kind of rolled through a bunch of people at the hospital who were relatively innocent. They were working security. I mean, you had the doctor. Now he did leave the other people alone, and he gave the doctor the option for him to, just hand her over. And I think it just furthers the question: how far are you willing to go to protect somebody that's your child? I mean, I think he was also under the impression when he brought her to that hospital. I mean, he was still bringing her there. I think they were all, when he said cordyceps grows in the brain.
Yep. So, not to cut you off completely, but let's keep in mind too, I know you think Ellie thought it was one-way trip. That was not what she was being preached to at all. There's no way a 14-year-old is going into that, at least in my head. Maybe everyone thinks differently, where it's a one-way trip because with that, which could be, but remember, they were kind of saying, she was giving subtle hints of like, oh, it's just my blood if I put it on Sam.
The fact that she rubbed her blood on Sam. Now I agree with Mason Quinn.
No one knew about
that she may have. She grew up in such an atmosphere, and she was such a badass that she might have been the person like, look, you're the only hope, but you have to sacrifice your life, but we need to get you there alive to sacrifice your life. She was such a badass that I think had that been the scenario, even though she was only 14, she might have gone with that. But the fact that she did that, look, if she knew it was in the brain, she wouldn't have even tried to cut her hand and that. And I think none of us thought that, because look, what every other post-apocalyptic show.
Well, didn't they show in the beginning though that it attacked the brain?
Right, but I think every post-apocalyptic show, everything that we've seen, it's always the blood. Yeah. We did if you haven't caught them, we loved them, but we did Maze Runner, And in Maze Runner, the whole thing was about, getting the blood of these people and the immunes, and they were off in the camps and in the mountains and stuff like that. And it was about getting their blood. It's always about getting their blood. It's always about getting the blood. So the fact that they were suggesting they were going to have to like cut out pieces of her brain and she was sacrificing her life.
Yeah, now keep in mind too, episode 1, when we first saw Marlene, they had no idea about that. Now, fast forward to episode 9, they have all this data of like what's going on in her body. So, episode 1, we don't know it's going to be her life or just blood. Episode 9, now we know it's her life.
I think the assumption, at least my assumption the entire time, and I'm, maybe not everybody's, but my assumption this entire time was that it's blood tests. We're going to do blood tests. What antibodies do you have? Things like that. The fact that she cut her hand and rubbed it on, maybe she thought that, whatever was in her blood is what helped. And again, Mason Quinn brings up a good point. And that's what it always is in every TV show, is you have something in your blood. So I don't think she knew, but to kind of, circle back to what I was saying before, how far would you go if, and especially in his head, like if I'm agreeing to this mission where I'm going to bring this child all the way across the country and you guys are going to run your blood tests and whatever, and when you're done running your blood tests, however long that takes, 2 months, 6 months, a year, we're going to take her back to Tommy in Wyoming and we're going to live out our life. Like if that's what you've been under the assumption, and especially everything they've been through, and all of a sudden you find out, oh, by the way, thanks, but this is a one-way ticket. Like, what are you going to go? It circles back just to the same, scenario. Just there's a whole lot more people in your way, and maybe some people who, that are a little bit more innocent. But what are the lengths are you willing to go to save somebody that you love? Which clearly he did in this point, and it's not his biological child, but it feels a whole lot like he looks at her like your daughter. How far are you willing to go? And if they're going to cut up her brain and that's going to be it, and you don't have a lot of confidence that's gonna, we don't know that he feels like, oh, this is gonna save things, and probably just thought, So.
Well, yeah, and Marlene doesn't know the journey that they just went on, right? And she doesn't know like a ton, from what I can remember. Maybe I'm wrong here, but I don't think she knows too much about Sarah. So like the journey that they went on, I'm sure Marlene wasn't thinking about that, but. Like also, I'm with Joel on this one a little bit.
She's looking at it from a problematic standpoint of like, I'm trying to save the world.
Right.
You're being selfish, trying to replace your daughter. You're starting to crack.
But she doesn't
doing
know that.
all these things. Yeah, I'm saying she doesn't, but that's Joel's behavior.
Now you brought up, what would you do in Joel's situation?
Well, that's the thing. I think that is the great thing about this show, is that it puts you at that crossroads. Now, again, you're asking me what I would do.
What would Mason do?
That's it. The answer is simple,
it's simple. For the other millions of people who are looking at you, and they're all looking at saying, well, okay, you just clapped 37 people in this hospital. What's one more girl? It's different because it's hers, and because this is the perspective we're watching the show from. I mean, what if we watched the show from Marlena's point of view? We'd be like, what's this maniac doing? We paid him to bring the girl here, and now he's taking out everybody.
Okay, so this is
that A to B of that journey.
So this is this is why this show is so brilliant. Okay, so let's take a look at, if Joel didn't ever think it was just a blood test, and he gets there. Look at his perspective. We're doing a brain surgery or whatever.
Are you assuming that they did it all gently, like, oh, hey Joel, hey Ellie, let's go in here.
Right. So let's take. You bring up an interesting point. It's perspective. If you're asking me, if it's my kid and I think, hey, we're going to do some blood draws and stuff like that, and they're like, no, this is it. Well, I'm 100% going Joel's direction. Mm-hmm. If I'm one of the security guards, and I've got 3 kids.
Yep.
And I'm worried about my kids lasting forever. I hate to be the one, but it's like, I'm probably, or if you're the surgeon, let's say
you're absolutely.
Let's say if I'm the surgeon and I've got 3
absolutely.
Kids, and so I think from everybody's point of view, honestly,
great.
Except for Joel's, they're all probably saying what Mason Quinn is saying, like, look, this is for the greater good. But that's when it's your child, I don't care. You're not making that sacrifice.
That was the mistake they made. They should have strapped Joel down to the bed, because they should have had some inkling inkling
that
of
he was
maybe
going to
he
do
was going to
something.
do
He's
that.
not walking away.
But in the beginning,
Marlene doesn't know
Marlene,
the
they don't
story.
know.
So
Yes.
that's,
Because Marlene thinks he's just on a delivery.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
That's what I'm saying.
That's a whole different perspective. She probably
she
didn't
didn't
know
know.
what they've been through together, and that he basically looks at her as a child now. Because in the
replacing what he
beginning,
lost.
look, this was about a car battery so he could get to his brother, right? And if that's all she thinks it is, hey, we're gonna walk you out to the highway. But look, if that's my son and I'm in that hospital, you better strap me down. You better do something more than walk me out with two guys, because there's no way I'm letting that happen.
Let's play this hypothetical. Maybe things might have been different if they didn't do the flare, right? Or where they could have actually brought him in and say, hey, we just got your test, Ellie, and gave her the option, like Joel was saying, like, hey, this is option
Marlena
A,
made. Yeah.
right? So you can either volunteer and do this, or option B is we're going to be a villain here and make you do it.
Okay,
Or,
so
Joel, Ellie, what do we do here? Let's figure out a way.
So
But that didn't happen.
That is a phenomenal point. That is a phenomenal point, David. Thank you for bringing it up, because I didn't even think about that. It's not like they walked Joel and Ellie in,
Yeah, they said they made a mistake.
And here's another thing, right? Like, the Fireflies knew who they were looking for. Hey, we're looking for somebody of Latin descent that's in their mid-40s and a teenage white girl that's 14 traveling together. Like, the Fireflies would have known what they looked like and known who they were. They should have been able to say, now look, maybe they were prepared for Joel to fight
But
back.
remember, Marlene said they didn't recognize who it was,
Yeah,
so
she
that was
did
their
say
fault.
that, yeah.
She did say that was their bad.
Our bad. Sorry, we didn't recognize the exact description that we could have given you. But Dave, you bring up a phenomenal point. Had they just walked them in and say, okay, here's how this is. We're going to sit you two down. We've learned that we can't solve this through any sort of blood tests, okay? So you two have come this far. And would Joel have even gone for it? I mean, what 14-year-old should be put, in a position where they have to make a life decision?
If Ellie would have said, I'm doing it,
good for it,
Joel probably would have went with it then. He would have been heartbroken.
I don't think he would have. Dude, I'm telling you guys, I think Joel is trying to replace what he lost with her. And I think that Ellie's even a little bit freaked out about it towards the end with like her acting. She's a bit standoffish from Joel. She's staying away from him
just
a little
lost
bit.
all those people. That's what they were hinting towards.
And she knows he's lying. Ellie is way too freaking smart. Everything she's been through in this world. You telling me she can't pick up on him being a terrible liar?
I think she feels a sense. I'm going to disagree with you. I think she feels, and maybe next season we're going to be like, one of us
the first 5 minutes.
One of us is going to say, I think she feels an extreme sense of, I don't know, maybe a mixture of guilt and disappointment that she wasn't able to, fix the world like she thought. I mean, imagine that pressure alone. How disappointed would you be if you've been told for however long that you're the cure to the world, and you get there and you're like, oh yeah, by the way, not only are you not a cure to the world, but there's a bunch of other people like you. Yeah, the trip you just... Now, mind you, she was told this whole time, you have to make this treacherous trip from Boston to out west. And imagine, like, you get out there and somebody tells you, oh, by the way, there was a bunch of others. What? The shit I just went through
and the people
in the
I
last
lost.
episode and the people I lost, and you're telling me now there's a bunch of other people like me, and maybe she feels like Marlena lied to her.
That's why
I'm saying confusion. There's a lot of confusion.
I tell you what,
and that's why I think she doesn't buy Joel's story.
And I'm sure when they wrote this, they knew that there would be discussions
just like
exactly like this happening, because they did not. How many shows give you the cliche like, oh, happy ending, oh, we're home, like you see the walls and you think like okay, now comes the next step, and then they fade to black and you're like, oh, well, season 2 will be interesting, what happens next? But there's some sort of resolution and that's kind of what you felt like you were getting set up for. The scenery, there's the walls. Or like the other thing I was thinking, because I'm getting ready for some cliche cliffhanger, right, is they walk up and there are the walls and the city's on fire,
destroyed,
and then dun, 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 fade to black. They didn't do either. They didn't go either cliche route where either like, hey, we're home, or like it's burning. Like, I mean, because we've seen that in how many shows where like you get home and home isn't home anymore, or there's the happy ending and to be continued. They totally. I mean, oh God, this show. And you know what's even more impressive to me is that it is an adaptation of a game.
Yeah,
You
it's
know?
like never worked before ever.
It's an adaptation of a game.
never
and
worked.
It's like they just
pretty
made
bad-
it brilliant.
bad record.
The acting, the writing, the emotion, the fact that Mason Quinn pointed out how many times in movies like, hey, you're gonna walk right by the full magazine. You're gonna walk right by. Like there's so many things like to cover the baby's ears.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, like even if he did or he was quick, whatever, the attention to detail, everything they did in this series, I think was so brilliant, and I think they wanted to end this because look, the second season's not coming for a hot minute, is it?
I don't know. Maybe they said it, but I think it's a minimum 2 years.
Yes. So,
Pedro can only carry one streaming service at a time, so he's got his work cut off.
I mean, this was incredible. Like I said with Ellie. And I'll extend my thoughts of Ellie to the entire cast, the entire show, whatever awards there are, best this, best that. Can we just put them all in a bucket and just hand it all over?
You'd be hard pressed to find something
like
on this
the
show's level.
the Emmys for next year come up or whatever, and the award goes to for which category? And the award goes to is this best actor, supporting actor, screenplay? And the award goes to, and just hand it over. Hand it all over.
So normally we do ratings for like movies and whatnot, but we're going to do ratings for this because why not? It's the end of the season. So why don't we start?
This is the most useless.
Is it the most obvious 5 ever, guys?
This is the most useless rating we've ever done.
Oh yeah, it's all 5s.
I mean, 5.
It's all 5.
I do want to give out credit to this to the people in this episode. Ashley Johnson, great to see you in here. That is the voice of Ellie in the game. Just I had to tell you guys one more time, just in case. It was almost, in my opinion, could be foggy memory, but damn, it was pretty damn close to the game for everything that happened in here. Like real knit tight. It was great. I feel that this hit harder for me on all the emotions, especially the way this episode opened. The emotions in this one hit harder than the game. That's not saying the game was bad because the game was awesome. It's just the different mediums.
It's real actors.
Yeah,
it's
it
gonna
just
hit
to me it hit more. The game is still great. Again, this whole season was a 5 for me. Just amazing. I'm happy that we had a great game to TV adaptation.
Yeah, it's such a fantastic world that sucks you in. You truly do feel like you're right there with Joel and Ellie, and Oak and I, you guys are probably annoyed by it. How many times we were like, hey, you could grab that tarp, or you could grab that knife, or maybe take that. Don't throw the bottle away. You can use it again, So it's been a lot of fun, and it really sucks you into the world.
Oh, this is the last of this season.
Mm-hmm.
It is. Well, guys, for Appleton Oak's terrible jokes, this
hold on.
That's what they had come on, man. They had a pun book throughout the entire thing. I'm trying to finish off with the fun.
So we are going to have a reaction to the game so these gentlemen can see the differences that were there, if there were any. So that will be coming out within a week or so. So be on the lookout for that, folks. We'll probably dive more in about the show, too. So
absolutely.
Got to get editing.
That's right. All right, guys. For the Appleton Oak, that's Diamond Dave Damone. I'm Mason Quinn. This has been The Last of Us. I cannot wait to read the comments. We're Bad Medicine, and we'll see you on the next one.